downward dog as their like, little inversion of the day that they feel like that makes them feel really good, right? So is there something that you feel specifically, right? Like a one little tool that just keeps walking with you every day that
Okay, so I was just making a list. Okay, I'm not going to share one thing. I'm going to share a few things. Okay, because I am just, everyone talks about how when you become a mom, it's like that version of yourself before you had this experience, no longer exists in that form. And for me, like, I'm glad, because I just have grown as a person, and I'm just such a more fulfilled, happier, more content person, joyful, peaceful, um, because of what my son and our journey together taught me. But so let me share some things that I am doing during this pregnancy, that are far different from the last. So the first, as I said, is I have this mindfulness practice. So just to kind of like make that very concrete, because I know for some people, even though we hear this word, people are tired of hearing this word mindfulness, right? Because we've heard it so many times during this pandemic. It's supposed to like really save us, right? But for me, to make it concrete, my mindfulness practice is every day, without fail, I am meditating. And, before becoming pregnant, and even at the beginning of the pregnancy, I was, I would sometimes, because as a mom, let's face it, okay, I have a mom of, I have an almost 4-year-old. On some days, like, all you can muster up is, 3 or 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. Maybe there's a day you can get 15 minutes to meditate, but those are like few and far between. So what I noticed was that, I was feeling like some anxiety. And so I was like, oh, okay, I know exactly what I need to do. I need to like tap in to my own toolkit. And so that means that every day, like, I'm meditating 10 to 15 minutes at least, sometimes twice a day. And I personally, I love guiding others on meditation, but I love to be guided as well. So I have like some of my favorites, and I also know that on some days I'm going to be able to really have a peaceful meditation, and other days I'm just going to have that monkey mind, and like that's going to be okay too. And however it is, I know it's still benefiting me. So I'm doing the meditation like without fail.
Mhm.
That's a promise I made to myself. I'm also throughout the day practicing the informal part of mindfulness, which is like the everyday mindfulness. So, for example, when earlier this afternoon, when my son and I were sitting in my recliner chair and we were reading, it's like I'm right there. I'm feeling his body on me, the weight of his head against my growing belly, like, but even like the softness of his hand, which to me is still so tiny and so cute. And like, I wonder sometimes, like, everyone's like, wow, it's going to look big when you have a newborn, but like, oh, it's still so small and so sweet to me, and the way it feels so soft. So, I really just bring myself to the present moment. So that right there is like the mindfulness and mindful meditation practice. And I'm doing a lot of other things too. So one thing, and this is like right up your alley, Alice, is making sure that I'm supported. Like, we're not islands. We don't have to do it alone. And that was a huge lesson I learned as a mom, because I was embarrassed to say that I was struggling, that this was hard. And, everywhere I looked, it was like, oh, that person has it together. That person has it together. I don't want to share that I don't. It was very isolating. Right. And now that I have a support network, which, by the way, you don't have to already be a mom to grow your network. You have some really great prenatal stuff. My Mindful Mom Circle, moms come when they're moms to be, they're expecting moms. So like, that's another thing. So I have this really great support, lots of people in my life to connect with and to make sure that I'm supported by. And I'm also like, I do a lot of reading, but the reading that I do pertaining to pregnancy is like very positive, very supportive type of stuff. Like, I'll never forget, I read a book when I was pregnant with my son, and it just said something. It was like, and if you do this, and this happens, you're never going to be able to let yourself, like, you're never gonna be able to forget it. And I'm like, why am I reading this book? Like, this is terrible. Like, I need to make sure that whatever I'm ingesting, whether it's on social media, in a book, on, television, whatever it is, that it's building me up, filling me up, making me feel good, not making me question myself or have doubtful thoughts or whatever else. So I'm very conscious of what I am taking in. I'm also resting because now I've learned the importance of rest and care, So that was something that as a new mom, self-care, I really did scoff at it. I mean, I really, really did, Alice. Like, if I'm being totally honest with you, I thought it was ridiculous. I thought, how can a mom possibly have time to take care of herself? When they said, like, sit on the sitz bath, like, several times throughout the day, I think I sat on that thing 2 times. And did I ever pay for it? Afterward, because I didn't let myself heal. I didn't give myself rest. I felt like the world wasn't going to keep spinning if I wasn't involved. So what I've learned is that, you know what? Yes, it will. I can step back. It might not go exactly the way I wanted it to, or planned it to, or would have done it, but I can step back because I deserve to care for myself and to rest. And, there's different kinds of rest. There's different types of care. So I figured out what works for me and how to do it, and to make sure that every day I really do. I mean, I lay down for half an hour every day in the middle of the day. Like, we've figured out a way to make it work because my body was saying to me, Stephanie, you need to stop. Like, you need to rest. So I've learned how to listen as well. That's something else. Like, how often do we really listen to our inner knowing? It's actually something that I talk about in Mindfully Pregnant, because you have to trust yourself. And to do that, you have to be able to listen, So that's something else. And I also just really focus in on my breathing too. The breath is this powerful tool. You talked about those 3 mindful breaths. Yeah, like, it's so powerful. Yeah, when we can just breathe. Um, it's it's incredible, when we take a nice, full, purposeful breath. We're sending messages to our brain, like, it's okay to calm down, you're safe. And then the brain sends messages to the body, and you really, like, just physiologically, like, you can't be like really worked up when you're taking these like deep breaths. It's just like not possible. So, just tapping into all these tools. But Alice, I didn't have these tools before,
Right.
you know and so I know that you wanted one thing, sorry, but
No, it's
hopefully
great.
somebody's going to say, wow, that one thing is great, I'm going to try that. Or that won't work for me, but maybe this